Friday, December 27th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. Another pretty cold morning. Let's take a look from the Resort Cam's live cam up in Banner Elk. Pretty cold out there all across the mountains this morning, currently in Banner Elk. As I'm cutting this video just after 5 a.m., it's 25 degrees. And it's cold and dry all around the region this morning. There's a peek at the radar. And unlike yesterday where we had some areas of precipitation lifting through central North Carolina, causing some ice issues in some areas, none of that ongoing this morning. It's just a clear, cold morning. But the beginnings of our next storm system very evident on the radar. When you look off to the southwest of us, a lot of rain now over parts of southern Texas, into the Gulf of Mexico, northeastern Mexico. And that is the very, very beginnings of our next storm system. Much more on that in just a second. Yesterday's highs, kind of interesting, the coolest readings over in the eastern parts of North Carolina, once you get outside of the mountains. You had a lot of 40s over that way as the clouds held tough. The rain was slower to clear over that way. A lot of low 50s for the I-85 corridor yesterday. And these are 5 a.m. temperatures today. It's 32 in Charlotte, 31 in Greensboro. A lot of the Charlotte and the Triad viewing areas away from the bigger cities, though, well down into the 20s this morning. 28 in Raleigh, 20 up in Boone. So again, the precipitation with a little disturbance from yesterday, that is long gone, and it's a very quiet start to our day here on this Friday. We'll have a lot of sunshine, as Futurecast is showing it today, then a clear, cold night ahead, or at least a mostly clear, cold overnight period ahead, as that high pressure moves throughout the region. Now, let's get into the weekend. Here's Saturday. Notice by late afternoon, a lot of rain through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and that'll be lifting northeast. Now, we should stay dry in the Carolinas during the day tomorrow, but very quickly tomorrow night, the rain will overspread the region, and it'll be a very, very wet go of it from later Saturday night through the morning hours Sunday, as that area of low pressure lifts right through the region. And eventually that rain pushes off to the east by Sunday afternoon. This does indeed look like a soaking rain event. Futurecast printing out 1 to 2 inches of rain in much of the Piedmont, even some spots over 2 inches of rain. And it's not alone in that general thinking, with the GFS here indicating, again, many Piedmont spots between 1 and 2 inches, and now the European in that same general ballpark as well. So good soaking rain event, and I'll show you more modeling specifics on what's ahead here in just a second. Before I get into that, I wanted to show you the ski resort information here, and looking good. Really nice powder conditions, and the fantastic conditions will hold through today and tomorrow. Then, of course, rain, even in the mountains, Saturday night and into Sunday morning. But then a lot of cold air following that system, so there'll be a lot more snow-making temperatures on the horizon next week. So with the exception of probably Sunday morning, a lot of good ski conditions on the way. All right, here's the European upper air chart, valid this afternoon, and this little trailing piece of energy right here, that is our big rainmaker for Saturday night and Sunday. As you go out to 66 hours, there's that piece of energy finally moving through. A lot of little trailing pieces of energy, though, kind of a complex setup for next week, although it likely will not result in much, if any, precipitation. We go out to the longer range here, pretty good trough diving through very early Tuesday morning on the European. And then we get later in the week, and I wanted to show you a couple charts here. This is Thursday evening next week, and you're looking at the European with 850 millibar temperatures down to about 12 below zero to I-40. And I know this will be tough to see, but this is the Canadian model, and it's 850 millibar temperature scheme by Friday evening of next week has the 20 degree below zero 850 line all the way down to the North Carolina-Virginia border. So a lot of the modeling on board with a good shot of cold air later next week. Now let me talk about the weekend system just a little bit further here. This is the European model early Sunday morning, and then around daybreak Sunday morning. Notice the placement of that low. There it is on the European. Let me show you the GFS at the same time. GFS a little further west with it, so with the GFS positioning, you could wind up with a bit of a severe weather threat close to the coast, depending on if any instability can get involved. There's a lot of dynamics involved there, but the thermodynamics are in question. Now, to Thursday of next week, the GFS brings precipitation through, but the European basically keeps things dry. So that's some uncertainty next week. But for the time being, I'm going with a dry scenario and probably a pretty good shot of cold air next week, Thursday or Friday. And then eventually the European brings another system through here around Sunday of next weekend. That'd be the 5th of January. But it would be a rain-producing system taken verbatim. So that's kind of the deal right now. It looks like a pretty chilly pattern for most of next week over the eastern parts of the country, but I don't see any great indications of any looming winter weather threats. All right, that is it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Have a great day, and God bless.